days, got sold to the grit and the game. But I just can't let it go. No, I just can't let it go. I wonder if you ever think about it. 7 kids on a 2-lane road. We had the guns on the radio, and after all this time it's still. But when I think about those summer nights, singing out the window on the back road, sweet child of mine, sipping on the locals, sparkle light. Ain't it funny how the best days of my life was all that wasted time, all that wasted time, swinging out on the line, living on that wasted time. Summer dresses drawn when I think about nowhere, but we were so alive, ain't that right? Ain't it crazy how the best days of my life was all that wasted time, all that wasted time. We were swinging out on the line, living all that wasted time. Don't you feel it coming on back now? Yeah. We're making it up as we go. It was so fun writing that song. Like the other one, it started with a bunch of gibberish melody, and we got to the chorus, and I was talking to both the guys. I said, it's so important that this song is, it's meant to be universal, because no matter where you grow up, you have similar things that you do, which is like you drink too much, you smoke, you go hang out by the river, you like on a rope swing by the river, and that was my experience growing up in my town in Australia. And James grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, and he had the same experience. And Greg grew up in Canada, and he had the exact same experience too. So I said, all right, well, there's 3 countries, and we have the same kind of upbringing. So I'm exhausted. So when we got to the chorus, I think about those summer nights. I always wanted to write a song that featured the line "Sweet Child of Mine," and I just love that song. And so we squeezed that one in, singing out the window on the back roads. Sweet child of mine. I knew we wanted a drink. We need a drink here. We're sipping on something, I don't know what it is. And I said to James, I said, in Australia, when I was growing up, we had this just cheap-ass drink called UDL, which stood for United Distilleries Limited. And it was a pre-packaged can of like bourbon and Coke or Scotch and Coke, and it was like awful, but really cheap. And everybody bought it and got hammered on it. And I said, what's a southern drink that was just real cheap-ass when you were growing up? And James he's only 24, so he said, we used to get hammered on these things called Four Locos. And I went, oh, really? 4 Locos? He goes, yeah, we just called them Locos. And I went, that's what we're getting drunk on. We're getting drunk on Locos. So sipping on the Locos was what came into that line. Spark a light, put in there whatever you think that means. And we had it. But, I grew up with so much country music, and I realized that you don't have to know exactly the place or the things that there's by Glen Campbell. I'd never been to Galveston, but I knew what that kind of place was like, and I knew what that kind of love was like. I'd never been to Wichita, and I'd never met a Wichita lineman, but I knew that guy from the song, and so metaphorically, I could feel those things. And I think when I write, I'm always looking for the feeling. So it may not be so literal, but hopefully you get a feeling from it. So Wasted Time came from all of that.